you ever feel like you're stuck in a tug of war with yourself? Caught between the person you used to be and the person you're really trying to become? Well, guess what? People have been wrestling with that exact feeling for centuries. So let's dive into this incredible text from the 1500s that basically gives us a map for that whole inner struggle. Our guide on this journey is Teresa of Avila. And she had this amazing way of seeing the soul. She pictured it as a magnificent interior castle, this brilliant crystal palace with all these different rooms or mansions. The whole journey to finding our true selves is really just a journey through these rooms. And today, we're unlocking the door to, a particularly tough one. Welcome to the second mansion. Think of this as the starting block for anyone serious about this inner path. You've made a choice. You've decided you want something more, something deeper. But you're still all tangled up in your old ways, your old habits, and the situations that keep pulling you back. It's a place of serious conflict, and honestly, a pretty dangerous place to be stuck. So here's our plan for today. We're going to look at who ends up in this mansion. Then we'll get into the messy part, the inner turmoil they face, and the tricky traps that are waiting for them. After that, we'll see how help actually shows up. And finally, the secret weapon to get through it all, perseverance. Okay, first up, entering the second mansion. So who exactly finds themselves here, and what makes this stage so incredibly risky? The folks in this room, they've heard the call. They've started to do the work, things like prayer or meditation. But, and this is the absolute key, they haven't really truly decided to cut ties with the old stuff that gets them into trouble. They want to move forward, for sure, but they're not quite ready to let go of the past. And here's the paradox, the real kicker of this stage. It's not like the last room where you were kind of clueless about the danger. Oh no. Here you can hear that call to a better life loud and clear. But you feel totally trapped, unable to move. And that awareness, that constant inner fight, it actually makes you suffer even more. Which brings us right to the core of what it feels like to be here. A soul in complete turmoil. We're talking about a massive internal tug of war, with two powerful opposite forces pulling you apart. And you can see that conflict right here. On one side, you've got this massive pull to just retreat. Go back to what's easy, what's familiar. Your brain is telling you how great all those worldly things were. But on the other side, there's your faith, your deeper self, pulling you forward, reminding you of what will actually satisfy your soul in the long run. Now, all this inner turmoil makes you really vulnerable. And the text has this fantastic phrase for it. It says you're being attacked by poisonous creatures, which is just a brilliant 16th century way of describing all the devious psychological traps that are designed to drag you right back where you started. Teresa points out three main tactics. First, the temptation to exaggerate worldly pleasures, making them seem way more amazing and lasting than they actually are. Second, the nostalgia trap. It hits you with memories of old friends, of how much people used to admire you, making you miss that old life. And third, the fear and doubt tactic. Just whispering in your ear that this whole new path is way too hard and you're just not strong enough to do it. Man, that sounds pretty bleak, doesn't it? But here's the good news. You're not left to fight this battle alone. The text is super clear that help does arrive, it just might not be in the way you expect. See, help doesn't usually come as a lightning bolt from the sky. According to Teresa, that divine call, that lifeline, comes through really ordinary, everyday things. It could be a conversation with a wise friend, a line you read in a book, or a powerful sermon. It could even be a time of sickness or trouble that just forces you to stop and rethink everything. It's through these little things that you get the strength you need. And this quote, wow, it just perfectly captures the desperation of this stage. It's a total cry for help. It's admitting that you're on a knife's edge, and it's so easy to get tricked into giving up and throwing away all the good you've just started. The need for help is absolutely critical. So, with this intense struggle and help coming in these subtle ways, what's the actual strategy for victory? How do you make it through the second mansion and keep moving forward? Well, the text lays out a very clear path of perseverance. All right, so what's the game plan? If you find yourself caught in this internal tug of war, what are the actual concrete steps you can take to win this thing? The advice is incredibly down to earth. First, hang out with good people who get it and are on the same path. Second, decide right now that you will never be defeated. Just make that your mindset. Third, you got to embrace the tough stuff. Don't run from trials. See them as part of your growth. Also, and this one's huge, don't expect to feel amazing right away. And finally, above all else, just persevere. Keep going, especially with your prayers or whatever your practice is, even when it feels totally dry. And that really gets to the heart of it all. The goal isn't to be perfect overnight. It's about that slow, steady, and yeah, sometimes painful process of lining up your will with a higher purpose. It's all about choosing the path forward one small step at a time. And that brings us to our last thought. This map of the soul from the 16th century is just shockingly relevant, isn't it? It really forces us to look at our own lives, our own struggles between who we were and who we want to be. So the question I want to leave you with is this: what does perseverance look like in your own inner journey?